political, anything. There are people that I just, I'd like to have a beer with that. You run into somebody, you say hello, you're pleasant. You're one of those people. And so is everybody else until you have a reason not to. I don't care about the other stuff, and you could be friends with people, and you could have a partition. Whatever you're doing today, you're supervised, I don't care. You got elected, go vote. That's all I care about. But it's nice to see you, and you smell great.
Well, you are so marvelous. And let me tell you, Scott, I love Kern County. You can't imagine the messages I've received in the last 24 hours.
No, I can't.
From so
You want to
many
compare? I'll show you mine.
marvelous conservatives in this community who I just adore. Now, to your point, if we get too heated in the politics, we may end up going separate ways at the end of the night. But when we don't do that, we have a great time, Scott.
I don't care enough about it to get heated. I just want to know what in the hell is going on here. A couple of weeks ago, the DA put out a press release about out to all the political campaigns about shenanigans or signs or meetings or whatever, and mind your P's and Q's. And I thought that was really kind of an odd. I get it. There's an election coming up. I could see that.
But they must be flush with cash.
But I didn't even care enough about it to take note of it at the time. I just, okay, and maybe you're the DA. That's what you have to do. There's an election coming up. You remind everybody the guardrails. So now we have a guy who used to work for... Now, first of all, and you may not even know any of this, how does David Brust just happen to notice your campaign? What a weird thing to happen to notice. Where did this take place? In the office? It was on county property? They were it was doing campaign activity or something?
You know, the warrant doesn't specify, and I actually haven't had a conversation with anybody in that office, so I actually don't know what's alleged, Scott. But what I've heard and what I understand in good faith at this moment is they claim a Zoom meeting occurred while in the county building that had a democratic or political purpose within the county. So
okay, that's a slap on the wrist. Worst case scenario, though. That's a super minor infraction. How does that end up turning into it? There has to be more than that going. You don't get a warrant based on somebody was on a Zoom call on county property.
Here's what's beautiful, Scott. You're going to love this.
And Brust just happens to be walking by and looks over somebody's shoulder at their laptop and knows what the Zoom meeting is about. Come on.
You know, Brust is a political operative, so he is what he is.
He's a regular business person, is my understanding.
We know who and what he is. But here's what's incredible to think about, Scott. The alleged conduct, if it's true, at the worst case scenario, under the most extreme circumstances, might be a misdemeanor.
It's not even that. It's a warning.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Off.
Scott, thank you for saying that. But in order to procure a warrant, you actually need specific acts that are felonious in nature, that will lead the reason.
Oh, there's no such thing as a misdemeanor warrant?
No.
You know what I would know if there was? I'd probably have had one served by now.
Many, I bet.
Several. Many is strong.
So what is so striking is somebody presented facts to a judge here in town who eventually did sign off on it once we publicly stated that they were attempting to access our office illegally and strong-arm the CAO to get in. This is really disconcerting, Scott, and a good conservative like you.
It's why
knows that it's wrong.
I'm not a good anything. Let's not get carried away here. I don't have enough faith in any party to be strongly whatever.
I notice I said great conservative. I didn't call you a hack or a political party operative. I said you're a great conservative.
I'll
and
take
Scott,
that.
I've said it 100 times. My best mentors that really have shaped me and made me what I am today have been overwhelmingly conservative men like you, frankly, who always gave it to me straight.
Let's just back this up to where I, with my kindergartner brain, can even grasp the basics of this. Let's say some kid, and he's 21. I'm sorry, that's a child in my book.
Yes.
By the way, you know how old Monroe was when he signed the Declaration of Independence? So he was 18 years old. There were 4 people in their 20s that signed the Declaration of Independence.
That is stunning. It was a different type of 18-year-old.
But I would have called them punks too, is my whole point. They're just a bunch of snotty little kids. Look, I just want to understand this. He just happens to oversee somebody on a Zoom. And, okay, that's an infraction. And, by the way, I've been doing this job 25 years. I've been through exactly 1 million, billion, trillion of these infractions. You get hey, knock it off. You can't do that. It's not, let's face it, this is not, in terms of campaign finance, this is a tiny little fish.
Completely.
What is the mechanism who does he go to
Well, thank you for that, Scott, because it's
No,
really...
hold on. What's the linkage between, hey, you're on a Zoom, you shouldn't be doing that, to... Because after trying to get into your office twice without a warrant, they got one.
Yes.
How do we get from here, hey, are you on a Zoom call, to we have a warrant? What happened in between?
Oh, thank you. That's an excellent question. So you see, it's a process and it's one group of people and it's a system, okay? And we've been through it now for a decade, so we know exactly what it is. Mr. Bruss came before the board and he teed up the issue for the public and to lay the basis for the, moral basis for the illegal entry and search of my office when none of us were there and they had cameras and could have literally done anything, Scott. This is the reality with this big government nonsense, right? So he teed it up 2 weeks ago from today so that he could put it out there into the public, lay the groundwork. He was the one always doing that before with all the other criminal matters that I've dealt with before with the DA. And then, and he, of course, is a former employee of David Couch and a current very close associate of David Couch. While another person who I have been told from my friends at the DA's office is also associated with Mr. Couch, Mr. Durst, who filed the complaint in the DA's office, got the ball rolling, if you will, which then gave a judge the consideration to whether to enter my office.
Hold on. Pin it right there.
Okay.
Here's where my little tiny man brain loses the track on this one. And I know we have politically motivated judges. We have the DA's office is a political office. It's an elected position. I understand. Law enforcement is full of all this stuff that goes on. There's the union side, and then there's the rank and all of that rank and files. All of that goes on. How in the HE double hockey sticks does a judge look at what this alleged infraction is and sign a warrant?
It's a great question. Thank you.
I cannot for the life of me. If that's all that this is, if this turns out to be that, I am going to be pissed that they wasted my time with this penny ante 6th grade prom queen nonsense.
Your tax dollars.
Yeah. I just don't see how a judge says, if the infraction really is somebody was, where did this happen? How did he just happen to be there and see this happening? Was he like ghosting these people, following them around or shadowing them or what? There's a lot here I don't get.
It's a great question. I actually don't know. And, I had a really nice conversation with Cindy a couple of weeks ago. I saw her at a CSAC event and I actually came to her and sat down with her. It was a very pleasant exchange. And we talked for quite some time. And I can't imagine that if she had some concerns about some political activity happening from young staff in our office, that's the kind of thing that you would think she'd say, look, Leticia, this is happening, or I've gotten wind of this. Can you address it? Can you deal with it? Maybe we should sit down with your staff.
It's a knock
Maybe
it
they
off
need
moment.
a class. If you need to come in and snap a couple pictures of a computer and a wall to compare pictures, that's a pretty basic thing. Why didn't you tell me that 2 weeks ago when we sat down and had a lengthy conversation?
Okay, so hold on. I just got one little ray of light there. They wanted to come in and take a picture of the wall that was the backdrop of the Zoom to prove that he was on the Zoom call in that office. Is that where this happened?
I'm assuming that. That's what I understand.
Great. I'm just, you can just leave now. I don't care about any of this anymore. This is so dumb. This is so penny ante, nonsensical, just baby time frolic right here.
I'll tell you, it doesn't feel that way for county staff, Scott, because they're pretty freaked out.
Is this supposed to be some kind of an October surprise? Is that where we're going with this?
Absolutely.
It's pretty weak sauce if this is your October
but Scott,
surprise.
not if they were able to be in there by themselves and create another story while they're in there. Then I could have another criminal case.
I'm fine. How do we find out? Is there going to be more come out about this? Because if you get a warrant to search a sitting supervisor's office, you better have some big ticket reasons to do that, and this does not sound like that to me at all. Now, keep in mind, I'm a person who doesn't care about it. I think this type of thing goes on all day, every day. Doesn't mean it's okay, but I guarantee you I'm going to break all of the posted speed limits on my way home today. I'm gonna. So I'm not the most lawful person ever, but a Zoom meeting in an office, so that's what, on county time, it's county property where the computer was that took part in the Zoom call. That's what triggered all this.
That's my understanding.
All right. I don't get it. This seems so dumb. But it's Kern County, and we just get this stuff all the time. There's so many axes being ground right now.
Some people get this. There's a public integrity unit who are devoted to the targeting of political enemies of the powerful. That's the reality. That's what that unit is.
I understand that completely. And by the way, those people are a big part of the reason why I stay home a lot, because I don't want to bump into those people.
I'm afraid to bump into them, too.
I don't want to get involved in that. I don't care about that. So, all right, well, we get... And by the way, everybody else in this, and I know that all the operatives, as soon as everybody heard that you were coming on, and I've invited everybody to come on the show and talk about this because everybody. But somebody better have something better than what I'm hearing right now, because how many, I don't even know how many times, I don't even keep track of it anymore. Somebody did a thing that ran afoul of, let's say, campaign finance laws. It happens all the time. I've never heard of a search warrant. I've never seen that happen before. And again, the timing of this, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. How sneaky and childish is it to go get a warrant, let's serve it while she's in a meeting so that she won't be here?
That's right.
That's so...
It's pretty ugly and pretty scary, and everybody should be concerned about it.
I kind of am. I don't care about any of this other stuff, as I've made abundantly clear. I don't care about any of the players in this game, any of them. But we can't have this. This is just dumb.
Thank you for saying that.
Well,
thank you.
But again, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's got some information I don't have. But if I had a nickel for every time somebody came up to me when I do go out in public, oh, did you hear what so-and-so is doing about so-and-so? And they're this person's out to get that person. My eyes just glaze over. I just keep walking. I don't... but this is just that. And there's such a small number of these little cliques around town.
Well, keep in mind that these group of people are passionate funders, supporters, and the people running my opponent's campaign, the Prosecutors Association.
Yeah,
that's not a coincidence, Scott. Come on.
Yeah, I guess it's probably not. I don't think coincidence. And by the way, and your opponent has already said that that it's not your office, it's the people's office. Yeah, but as long as you're holding that office, you can't just go gain entry to it. You need a warrant to get into the people's office also. I know it's the people's office, but I can't just breeze into the White House. I tried it once. It didn't end well for me. This is just all dumb, and I'm sorry you got caught up on all this stuff.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We're staying focused. We're talking to the voters. We're working really hard. I, too, stay home as much as I can because I'm afraid of these people. You better believe it.
I'm not afraid of them. They just irritate me. They're just like it's like getting soap in your eyes. You know what I mean? It's not long-term damage, but I still want to avoid it if I can. All right.
Thank you for the opportunity, Scott. I appreciate it.
It's not even an opportunity. It's just I need to, this is all so stupid, and I need to know why it's happening around me. And how this ended up in the news. I don't see how a sitting judge, who's the judge that signed the warrant? Do you know that?
I didn't know.
Doesn't it have to have his autograph on there?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the warrant looked like you checked a couple boxes and they threw Christian's name on there and my name on there. I mean, it looked like something that could have been done in 2 minutes. I don't know why they didn't do it before they attempted to strong-arm the CAO into my office. It doesn't make sense.
And so they tried to get in twice.
Three times.
Oh, the third time, so 3 times without a warrant and then once with a warrant.
Correct. Friday they attempted three times.
And so you're in this meeting about carbon sequestration.
Our first in the state. It was a big deal.
Seems like it. And somebody from the office goes, OMG, the Gestapo is here.
The Gestapo. My CAO comes, taps me on the shoulder. She looks like she's white in the face, like she's seen a ghost. I come around the corner. She says, "There's a warrant," and she just looks completely and utterly terrified. Our new CAO. Welcome back to Kern County.
And somebody may think of this. I don't. Maybe somebody who's watched every episode of Law and Order or whatever. Why wouldn't you just tell them? You know what? I didn't have nothing to hide. Go ahead. Well, which I would not have done. Nobody's searching my private property without a warrant. No way.
Keep in mind, though, Scott, we didn't even know they arrived. They arrived Friday morning. No notice, no permission. We didn't even know they were in there trying to get access. I would have happily said, "Here, take a picture. If something's gone wrong, let's address it."
Let's say all of this is exactly true up to this point. So. Now you have a picture proving that Zoom call, that activity took part on county property. Okay? That's a knock it off thing.
That was obviously not their intention of going into my office when no staff was there. Let's keep it real. Scott.
Okay, I never got through. I never went to law school, but
they had much worse intentions.
You have to have a reasonable suspicion that a felony has been committed.
Correct.
This couldn't be that under any circumstance.
That's correct.
All right. You know what? I appreciate your coming in.
I'll come back if you need me to.
You can come back anytime you like.
It's good seeing you, Scott.
And everybody else involved in all of this nonsense is welcome too. But if this is all this is, oh God, here we go. It's only in Bakersfield. All right, let's go take a break on that happy note. It's the First Look program. It's News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.